This summer, Instacart is bringing back your favorites from 1999 with prices from 1999. That means 90s prices on juice pouches that ought to be respected, 90s prices on box mac and cheese, and 90s prices on ham, cheese, and cracker lunches. Enjoy all those throwbacks and more at throwback prices, only through Instacart. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Limit one offer per order. Expires September 5th while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison.
It's nearly 2 a.m. on the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe. Inside the Sahara Tahoe casino, slot machines still jingle for a few lingering gamblers. Down a quiet corridor, the first aid station sits in the shadows. Empty, Donna Lass, the 25-year-old night nurse, is nowhere to be found. A security guard frowns at the sight. Donna's logbook lies open on the desk. A pen dropped mid-sentence. The last entry is time-stamped 1:50 a.m. Moments ago, she was here tending a visitor's cut finger. Now the room is silent. Her sweater is still draped over the chair. The guard's calls echo down the empty hallway. There's no trace of her. And by morning, a strange phone call from an unidentified man will claim Donna had a family emergency. Her family will later confirm no such emergency existed. Donna Lass has vanished without a trace, and Lake Tahoe is awake to another mystery. I'm Sarah Powell, and this is Obscurata, because some stories have no ending. By day, Lake Tahoe is a postcard paradise, a cobalt blue alpine lake, cradled by pine forests and granite peaks. Tourists flock here for the scenic splendour and recreation. But when the sun dips behind the Sierras, another Tahoe emerges. An eerie, atmospheric Tahoe, steeped in ghostly lore, urban legends, and unanswered crimes. Locals have long told that something strange lurks beneath Tahoe's surface. In this episode, we delve into the dark side of Lake Tahoe, exploring chilling paranormal encounters, legendary creatures of the deep, and true crimes that remain unsolved. The stories span both the California and Nevada shores of the lake, proving that Tahoe's mysteries pay no mind to state lines. From spectral brides and hotel phantoms to lake monsters and missing persons, we'll navigate the investigative and supernatural, all under the looming presence of Tahoe's cold, unfathomable waters. When darkness falls over Tahoe's shores, ghost stories come alive. Nearly every historic building or lonely cove around the lake has a tale of something that goes bump in the night. These aren't just campfire stories. Many are rooted in the area's tumultuous history of early settlers, wealthy eccentrics, and even a brush with Hollywood glamour. Let's step into some of Tahoe's most famous haunted locales and meet their otherworldly residents. Among Tahoe's oldest legends is the ghostly lady in white, said to roam the beaches on moonlit nights. As the story goes, in the late 1800s, a young bride-to-be received a devastating letter on the eve of her wedding. Her fiancé was cancelling the marriage. Heartbroken and humiliated, she donned her white wedding gown anyway and walked into the cold lake waters, never to return alive. Since then, fishermen and campers have reported a pale female figure in a white dress, gliding along the shoreline after dusk. She often appears at a distance, usually near deserted stretches of beach. Those who get too close say she vanishes into thin air, leaving only footprints in the sand or a fading wisp of mist. According to local law, the lady in white's ghost is not benign. She may beckon young men who are alone by the water, attempting to lure them into the lake to join her in a watery grave. On Tahoe's north shore, straddling the state line, sits the historic Neva Lodge, once a glittering resort and casino in the 1960s. The Neva gained fame under the ownership of singer Frank Sinatra, who hosted his Rat Pack pals and elite guests like Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedys. Perhaps it's no surprise that two of the era's biggest icons are rumoured to still linger in spirit at Neva. Staff and guests have repeatedly claimed to see Sinatra's ghost pacing near the old showroom stage, where Old Blue Eyes once performed to raucous crowds. Late at night, the empty theatre has allegedly filled with the faint sound of phantom applause and big band music, as if an invisible audience is reliving one of Frank's shows. Even more famous is the supposed ghost of Marilyn Monroe. Monroe spent her final week at Neva, just weeks before her mysterious death in 1962, staying in her favourite cabin, number 3. In the years since, multiple witnesses have spotted a blonde female apparition in that cabin and along the adjacent grounds. In one chilling incident, a BBC film crew conducting a paranormal investigation recorded an unexplained female voice echoing in Marilyn's former cabin, repeating the question, "Do you want to see a movie?" An eerie choice of words for the Hollywood legend. Some speculate that Monroe's spirit remains tied to Neva because of the troubled, perhaps dangerous final days she experienced there. Rumours abound that she was assaulted by mob associates during her stay, or even killed off-site as part of a conspiracy. While those theories remain unproven, they lend a dark intrigue to Marilyn's ghost story. Visitors who are aware of her tragic end have reported an overwhelming sadness in cabin number 3, as if some remnant of Marilyn's anguish still permeates the room. Across the lake on the remote east shore stands the Thunderbird Lodge, an estate built in the 1930s by an eccentric millionaire, George Whittle Jr. With its stone manors, secret tunnels, and isolated coves, Thunderbird Lodge looks like it was plucked from a Gothic novel, and its ghostly roster would fit right in. Whittle himself, who died in 1969, is rumoured to patrol the property in spectral form, keeping an eye on his old domain. But he's not alone. Over the years, several people met tragic ends at Thunderbird, and locals say their spirits never left. One often told tale involves a labourer who fell to his death while building the lodge's boathouse in 1940. Whittles supposedly had the accident site bricked up in a panic, but employees have since seen a shadowy figure in work overalls trudging near the boathouse at night. Another tale concerns the ghost of Jimmy Lee, Whittles' personal chef. In 1954, Jimmy had the unlucky fate of being mauled by a bear one night when he stepped outside to dump kitchen scraps. The gruesome death shook the household. To this day, staff and visitors claim they occasionally hear disembodied noises from the old kitchen, pots clanging, a knife chopping, as if Chef Jimmy is still dutifully preparing meals in the afterlife. There's even a tongue-in-cheek local legend that on quiet nights you might catch the tantalising aroma of phantom stew wafting through the halls. Adding to the spectral ensemble, Whittle's mistress, a young woman named May Mulhagen, died in a car crash near the estate and is said to wander the estate's perimeter in a daze, perhaps searching for the lover and lavish life she left behind. With its hidden passageways and lonely lakefront location, Thunderbird Lodge invites the imagination to run wild. Tahoe's paranormal palette doesn't end there. On the west shore, the stately Hellman Airman Mansion, built in 1903, boasts gorgeous lake views, and locals say a few resident ghosts of its own. This former summer estate, turned museum, was home to wealthy San Francisco banker I.W. Hellman's family for decades. Some park rangers and tour guides have reported subtle signs that Florence Hellman, I.W.'s daughter, who died young, or even I.W. himself, still drop by from beyond. Rocking chairs sometimes begin to sway on their own in empty rooms, and guides have found fresh indentations on the bed, as if an invisible someone sat down to rest. Footsteps pitter-patter down vacant hallways, and doors that were locked at closing are found inexplicably wide open the next morning. Yet by all accounts, the Hellman Airmen spirits seem friendly, more attached to their beloved home than out to frighten anyone. Over in Emerald Bay, the Vikingsholm Castle, a grand Viking-style mansion built in the 1920s, has its own ghostly lore. Rangers there have smelled the distinct aroma of cinnamon toast in the kitchen at dawn, despite the room being empty and unused. It so happens Laura Knight, Vikingholm's original owner, adored cinnamon toast for her breakfast, and some believe she still pops in to start the day. That pleasant haunting contrasts with a more unnerving report from a caretaker who awoke one night in the house to a dark figure standing over the bed. The apparition vanished, but when the shaken caretaker described it to a colleague, they responded with their own similar encounter. Some speculate this could be the ghost of a former cook from the 1930s who met a tragic end, an ex-employee with unfinished business. Lake Tahoe surrounding towns are not immune to hauntings. In the nearby old mining town of Truckee, the historic Truckee's Hotel has so many ghosts that rooms are specifically requested by ghost hunting tourists. Guests have reported everything from a spectral little girl running sobbing down the halls to lights and faucets turning on by themselves, to the unsettling sensation of invisible hands touching them in the dark. One resident ghost, nicknamed William, died in a 1909 fire trying to escape down the main stairwell. Now panicked footsteps and a man's figure are often glimpsed on those same stairs, before dissolving into thin air. Suffice to say, an overnight around Tahoe may offer more than you bargained for. From mansion drawing rooms to forested coves, these ghostly tales contribute to Lake Tahoe's mystery. Is it the depth of history here, the tragedies of pioneers and pleasure seekers alike, that imprint so strongly? Or perhaps Tahoe's very geography, with so much water and granite, creates a kind of natural battery for paranormal energy. Some local paranormal investigators think the high mineral content and alpine waterways conduct ghostly activity through the area. Whatever the cause, the effect is some rich ghost lore. If you find yourself by Tahoe shores on a silent night, don't be surprised to feel a sudden chill or catch a faint melody of long-ago laughter in the breeze. The haunted site of Tahoe is always there, just waiting for nightfall to come alive. As spectacular as Lake Tahoe's surface is, many of its deepest secrets lie beneath the waves. For generations, people have whispered about strange creatures and other mysteries lurking in the lake's cold, dark depths. Some of these tales are playful folklore, others are truly bone-chilling. Together they form an aquatic mythology that makes Tahoe much more than just a pretty lake. It's potentially the home of cryptid monsters, vengeful spirits, and even a vast underwater graveyard. Let's dive in, so to speak, to Tahoe's most enduring legends of the deep. In the pantheon of lake monsters, think Loch Ness's Nessie or Oregon's colossal Claude. Tahoe proudly offers Tessie, a supposed giant creature inhabiting its depths. Stories of Tahoe Tessie go back to the 19th century, long before modern internet-fueled hoaxes, and continue to this day. The first documented sighting came in 1897, when a San Francisco socialite named I.C. Coggin claimed he had a terrifying encounter on Tahoe shores. Coggin described a serpentine beast with a 40-foot wide head and glossy black eyes, emerging from the woods near the water. In his lurid account, published in the newspapers, the fantastical snake slithered by, crushing small pine trees under its enormous belly, as Coggin hid behind a boulder in fear. "I know many will doubt this story," Coggin wrote defiantly, "but sooner or later his snakeship will be seen by so many that all doubt will be removed." Such sightings accumulated over the years, and Tessie became Tahoe's own local legend. Eyewitness descriptions of Tessie vary. Some say it resembles a huge sturgeon-like fish. Others report a long black reptilian form with humps, and some even liken it to a mosasaur dinosaur left over from ancient times. The common thread is that it's big. Estimates range from 10 to 80 feet long, and it moves fast. One of the most famous series of sightings occurred in 1988, when a rash of reports came in from dozens of people around the lake, including vacationing tourists, locals, 2 on-duty police officers, and a group of nuns visiting a nearby camp. All claimed to have seen a large, dark thing slicing through the water, or surfacing briefly before disappearing into the depths. The flurry of credible witnesses made headlines in the Tahoe Daily Tribune, and even landed Tessie a mention in Cryptozoology Compendium of Mysterious Creatures. Long-time residents will tell you that Tessie typically pops up in calm twilight conditions, often in the summer. Boaters have occasionally reported an anomalous V-shaped wake on an otherwise glassy lake, as if something enormous passed just beneath the surface. Only nothing ever breaks the water. One veteran charter captain, the late Mickey Daniels, swore he saw an immense hump emerge from the water one dawn while he was fishing, leaving a wake like a boat's, an encounter that left him a believer in Tahoe's monster. So what could Tessie be? Science offers a few explanations that are decidedly less exciting than a prehistoric lake monster. Some suggest the sightings might be massive schools of Lahontan cutthroat trout or giant sturgeon. Tahoe had sturgeon planted over a century ago, causing illusions of one big creature. Others point to wind patterns and boat wakes refracting to create force waves. And then, of course, there's the tried and true idea of plain misidentification. Logs, large otters, or even an occasional diver with a fin can look eerie in low light. But to true Tessie enthusiasts, these rationales don't cut it. They point to the depth of Tahoe, 1,645 feet at max, and its frigid, clear waters as a perfect hiding place for a large unknown species. Native Washoe and Paiute tribes have old myths of water-dwelling snakes in Tahoe, lending cultural weight. And notably, Tahoe Tessie has become a beloved local icon. You'll find cutesy Tessie cartoon stickers, a Tessie craft beer, and endless puns in gift shops. Believers half joke that Tessie's just too smart to be caught, and perhaps enjoys the fame while staying out of sight. And that is the first half of this two-part episode about the folklore and creatures and paranormal stuff around Lake Tahoe. I'll be back again on Thursday with the second part. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating and reviewing wherever you listen. I don't think you can actually do that on Amazon, but you can rate on Spotify and you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also support this podcast by visiting patreon.com/The Whispering Woods, where for £2.50 a month you can listen completely ad-free when you subscribe to the Obscurata tier. And we're now on Apple Podcasts, where for $4.99 a month you can listen to this podcast and our other podcast, The Whispering Woods, ad-free. I want to say thank you to Rog for fact-checking and editing, and as always, stay curious and sleep with the lights on, just in case.